Howdy.
So we got a lot of the stuff on Savio's rear end wrapped up over the weekend. Got these beautiful plates that we made here, as well as a nice front plate to protect the back of the cell and tie everything together. Obviously very well protected. This is our tie-in point to give the cage shell there some structure. And we're also going to base our partition off of this straight edge right here, so it'll come straight up here to meet the back window. So that'll give us a nice flat spot where we can mount whatever we need to, or overflow, expansion tank, all that fun stuff. We'll find a good location for once everything's in place. This new radiator came in, new fans came in. We figured out what we're going to do with the airflow and everything. We're going to kind of just dump it out the middle of the rear bumper whenever we chop that up in a very pretty way.
El Chapo.
And yeah, he's got all the plating done here for the rear bash bar. So probably going to start bending some tube and whatnot tomorrow, or whenever he gets them in to get back into it. Might be a little busy tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, we got Barry on car to finish tomorrow.
Yeah, but it all depends on what time the parts get here.
But yeah, we're gonna start, hopefully, if we can get Barry on's drivetrain back in tomorrow, I'll get to start on bending this with Chris, and we'll get to make the radiator supports, the bash bar, and whatnot.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna get rid of this ugly shit right here, because I really don't like it.
We don't like it at all. We're gonna go get one of them fancy, what are these, spot weld removers?
Yeah. Or we might just plasma cut it out. Who knows?
Yeah,
Just fill it in with
way.
weld.
Yeah. Probably that, because, you know,
That seems a lot easier.
way easier.
We don't like drilling holes.
I hate drilling holes. Especially big ones for like dimple dies and stuff. Yeah.
We got a punch for that. Well, we did, but
I broke
Cricket
it.
broke it the first day we had it.
Like first 20 minutes we had it, I broke that thing. I got 2 dimple dies
Exactly why we
punched
don't
through
have
and
nice
then
things.
I locked it up. This guy right here. See that thing that's protruding right there? Yeah, it's stuck. I did it wrong, so it's stuck in there, so now we can no longer use it. So we use a big hydraulic jack.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have successfully removed the extra metal that we had in the car, like for instance the speaker deck, a couple extra tabs and whatnot. That didn't really go anywhere. We ended up stitch welding almost most of the chassis. So what I did was I took in, you can see where the speaker deck used to be, went all the way up onto the strut tower. And what I'm doing is I took my plasma cutter, and instead of drilling the holes, I just blasted them. It took me probably 5 minutes to blast all these out and then just peel them off. So it works a lot easier than actually trying to drill them out with the spot welder drill bit that they sell over at Harbor Freight or Northern Tool. But this just works really well. You just blast it, make a tiny little circle, and grind it down, and then just fill it with tack weld. Like those guys. We're gonna end up grinding those down, make it nice and flush and smooth, so you can't even tell if there was ever a speaker deck there. So we just got back from Pro 1 FD in St. Louis on Monday night. Started again on this beast Tuesday. So what we did is we put in this is actually just a rear bash bar. The fuel cell mounts up there in cradle. So we're gonna put our battery right here. We're gonna turn it sideways. I have to mount a power steering pump somewhere over here in the corner. And then we started on our rear mount radiator supports. So our radiator is actually gonna go just like this. Not sure how much of an angle we want yet, probably right around there. So we still have access to the battery from the top instead of having to go underneath it. And then we're going to take 45 AN fittings and go down through right here, because we removed our fuel stock fuel tank, obviously, because we cut it out and made room for the fuel cell to go in there. So we're going to run our 2 radiator lines in through there. And for the fuel tank, or the fuel cell, we're actually going to take and run our fuel lines through this dimple die that we made and do a bulkhead connector right here and run the fuel lines underneath the car through the trans tunnel. And the radiator lines are actually going to run in through the cabin, and we're going to take and use that shielding that goes over top of it to lock it in just in case anything happens to the line. So it'll be nice and clean underneath. Savio likes to dirt drop, so we want to keep the bottom as clean as possible with little to nothing underneath there. Fuel lines can go right up inside the trans tunnel away from everything, so the only thing underneath there that would drag would be his exhaust, which we're going to do a full new exhaust for him too. So it's going to change the tone of his car. Got a couple other little treats that we're throwing on top of his motor to make it look nice and pretty. Full new body kit, Origin Labs, I think. Chris can correct me, or Joel can correct me in a cut right now. And we're gonna get this thing ready for paint by Friday, and it's Wednesday. And I still have to do bash bar extensions right here. We're gonna have removable ones, so in case he wants to get closer to a wall and wall tap, it's not gonna mess up these. They'll be removable here. And I also have to finish the whole front end of the car, and I don't have all my parts yet. I need the A-frame coming from, I don't remember who it is, but they have this A-frame that basically it just has a 1-inch bar in between it to lock it in. And I'm waiting for that to come in so I can actually start doing the tube chassis front. Hopefully that will be here today. If not, I got some stuff we need to do inside the car. If you want to take a look over here, we just got his pedal box in, and we also have his steering shaft from FDF Fab. So we have all the reservoirs for it. We're going to mount a pedal box for Savio, which means we have to build our seat brackets this week as well. So I'm literally running out of time as we speak. I have no time. So I have to finish the rear end, I have to finish the whole front end, which I haven't even started on yet, do a pedal box, do seat mounts, install the steering shaft and do mounts for that as well, and build a whole tube chassis front end to be able to drop this thing off for paint Thursday night, because Friday we leave to go to Clutch Kickers at noontime. So maybe I'll have a couple hours Friday morning to be able to finish this thing up. It's going off to paint. We're going to be at Clutch Kickers this weekend. I don't know if this video will make it out by then, but if it is, it's a fun event. It's only like 75 bucks to register to drive. So if your car is ready, obviously Savio will not be driving this weekend. But Duarte will. We're going to be bringing out Blue Thunder and trying it out at Clutch Kickers, which is going to be awesome. Can't wait to see you guys there. And JD, take a look at all my cool ass stitch welding with a cool piano shot with some music.
All right, so small update. Second week working on Savio's new shell over here, so we brought his old car back into the shop. Obviously got to pull the engine and all that stuff out whenever the time comes for us to swap, but first thing we're going to do is get all of the welding and fabrication on the chassis done so we can drop it off at paint just to get the interior, the engine bay, and the inside of our trunk and fuel cell cradle and stuff like that painted. So now what I'm doing is just taking this little stuff off that we need. Took our fuel cell out. We're going to send that off to get powder coated because the finish on it's just terrible. It's going to ruin all of our beautiful brand new stuff we got on there. We're going to get his valve covers done. Our upper radiator support piece we're going to do as well. I just took his coolant expansion tank, our radium unit that we had in the back of this car. So I'm going to make a bracket for that so that Cricket can weld it into the rear of the car. And that plus the seat brackets and the mount for our pedal box I think are the last bits of chassis fab that we need to do. Hoping by Thursday of this week we'll have the car out of the shop and going to come back looking a whole lot better.
We can't deal with this foggy lens.
What's up?
I said no.
So we finished the rear end and now we're working on setting up our headlight brackets on the tube chassis front. So what you got to do is you got to add your fenders, your hood, your lights, and your grill.
Yep.
And get the right.
We figured out a cool trick with this thing too, where if you put your headlights and your grill all together, then the width of your assembly is right, and they actually bolt to the fenders on the side here. So we bolted them to the fenders and just put this little tripod to support the center of it. And then when you close it, that's right there. That's right on the money. That's just beautiful. So from there, now we're going to build our upper support piece as well as some brackets.
Bobbies.
So just make sure you don't kick this again, JD.
Yeah. Hey, maybe don't kick it again. You just like together.
All of that sexiness. Bam.
Thank God we planned for that.
Yep. Looks amazing. It's perfect. Yeah, it's only a couple bolts to get it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 16.
8, 10, there's 20 of them.
Alright, so I want to shout out to my new sponsors. We were able to get a couple local sponsorships from Express Meat Market, Floors Cleaning, and Triton Stone. Those are local businesses that I usually go shopping there. I try to show a little bit of drifting. I try to bring a little bit of, the drifting side into them to help them with countertops, with meat. I know it's different. It's not the automotive sponsorship that you were expecting, but I can't complain. I love the product that they sell, so why not bring it out there and have them help me? So I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. They're gonna be in the car, and make sure to check them out if you're in Fort Myers, Sarasota area, Orlando. They're all over Florida. Appreciate it.
Video things. Hey Chris, what are we doing?
What's up? We are on our way to West Coast powder coating. So we got a bunch of stuff like our Sicky rear subframe for the winter's diff. We got our fuel cell that we need to get refinished, our engine cross member that we modified to relocate our steering rack a little further forward, and a bunch of little brackets and fittings and things like that that we're going to add to the mix on the rear end of the car, like our battery box and our battery tie down and a bunch of other stuff like that. So we're going to get all that powder coated, as well as picking up some stuff for Poppy's other project, for El Jefe's other project.
So we are finishing up Savio's fabrication today. It has to go to get paint tomorrow. And I still have to do 2 more brackets right here to line up the lights, which is going to take a little bit of time because they have to be perfect. Got to get the hood, that's all wonky and shit, to fit right. I got to still do the pedal box. I have to do a hydro mount. And that's about it. So I'm probably gonna have to work a little late, but I mean, look at the sex though, you know? I know you're gonna ask me, do I have to dimple dye everything I touch? And the answer is, I can and I have to. What are we doing here if we're not gonna dress everything up and make it look good? You know, Savio deserves this. Love you, man. Let me get back to work. We're sending Savio's car off to paint over to his buddy Johnny's. Does phenomenal work. Gonna get the whole interior painted, all the front end, rear end. We're gonna paint the rest of the car green at a later date, but we're gonna get all the interior done while we're at FD. I leave on Sunday for Seattle, so we have a week off on the car, so we might as well send it somewhere that can get all the stuff done that we don't do anyways, and it like works really good with our timeline. So we're not like sitting around waiting for the car. We're actually going to be in Seattle. So when we get back, hopefully we come home to a nice present of this car being done and painted, so we can put the engine in and do all of the other accessories on the car to send it off to paint and go from there. So this ends the fabrication of Savio's car. My job's done, at least the hard stuff.